All right. Welcome everyone to my Sunday stock watch for November 16th. I hope we are all doing very well this nice Sunday. But anyways, let's get right into it. First things first, we have our economic calendar for this and upcoming week. So for Monday, we don't have much news, but we do have a couple Fed speakers joining us. We have one speaker at 7 a.m., 7:30. And then one a bit later in the day. Sorry, two speakers a bit later in the day. So that is all we have for news on Monday. Now for Tuesday, we are supposed to be getting, I guess, all of this news, but we may not get it since the government is still reopening. For that matter, I'm not 100% sure. I've done my research, but again, it's a little bit unknown what type of news we'll get because of the government shutdown. So we are supposed to get some export-import prices, manufacturing production, all that good stuff. And then for Wednesday, looks like we will see the 30-year mortgage rate and a couple other news events that won't be red folder. So not too much to worry about there. And then we do have FOMC minutes and then a Fed speaker. So that is something to just be aware of. And then for Thursday, looks like we do have a couple Fed speakers on Thursday and then a couple news events kind of coming out about our mortgage rate, bond auction, all of that good stuff. Nothing red folder, nothing to be too worried about. And then what is supposed to come out, I guess, is initial jobless claims and all that good stuff, which we will most likely not be seeing. Then for Friday, some more Fed speakers, and then PMI and inflation expectation is a couple other events that we will be seeing. And whoops. And then also, I believe on Wednesday, which let me just make sure. Let me pull it up real quick. All right, so yes, on Wednesday, pre-market, we do have, pre-market, aftermarket, we have Nvidia earnings. This is going to be a really, really big event. Obviously, expect the indexes to be a little bit choppy heading into Wednesday Nvidia earnings drop. Just expect that. This will be big. Please, no betting on earnings. It'll probably be some sort of VIX crush event, IV crush event with Nvidia, where it probably won't move as much based off of earnings. But again, Nvidia earnings Wednesday, be prepared. So let's take a quick look at how the overnight market is looking right now. So we have SPY and Qs up about, SPY's up about 30.30% and Qs is up almost 0.50%. And then mostly across the board, a lot of names are up right now, which is nice. Although I know currently, most likely, I think Bitcoin is getting a little bit crushed. So Coin and MSTR aren't up too much. MSTR is still trading at around $200 and Coin's at $285. So that is definitely something I'm going to be keeping my eye on going into this next week. So let's take a quick look since we are mostly unchanged from Friday. If my chart wants to load. Okay, Qs, let's go into the 1 hour time frame. So Qs is currently sitting around 611 right now as well, 611.55. So quite literally unchanged from Friday. What I'd be looking for going into tomorrow is for us to hold up this 608 to near 612, 614 range. Going into tomorrow, since it's kind of like no news Monday, we probably won't be seeing a whole lot happening. So I'd be cautious of that. SPY, same sort of deal. I'd be watching the 675 to around 671, 70 area going into tomorrow. We could stay within this range and I would watch for any potential moves out of this range. But the biggest thing I'll be watching for is any bounces or rejects off of these two areas. If we do happen to see a break of either direction, I'll be watching for that as well. So just be aware that's kind of the range we have going into tomorrow. Now, next couple names that I'm watching for, the first one being Tesla. So if we take a look at what Tesla is trading at right now, 404.90. So Tesla, we got a lot of downside last week, even into the 380 area. And then we got this really nice bounce off of this 380, 382, and continued higher into 410, and then kind of fell short near end of day. So we're still trading around this range right here. I would be very cautious for Tesla to break back below 400. We can easily see that move back into that area, and we haven't seen back here in quite a while. So if we do continue lower, expect potentially either another bounce off of 380, or for us to continue even lower, like 370, even into 365. Now, since we are trading back above 404, though, I would expect to see a break above 405 and a continuation higher into 410 to 415 range. Tesla's got a pretty wide range on it, but you do have to be really cautious of this 400 area, because once they do break below there, it can be a little bit of madness. So be cautious, be aware of that. Nvidia is not really something I'm going to brush on, just because we do have earnings going into this next week. But a lot of names got a pretty wide range last week, overnight Thursday going into Friday. A lot of names saw a good amount of downside. Even Nvidia saw back to 180, which is a big, big move down. So just be cautious of that, and we're still trading within the same range. Again, Nvidia is not going to give you a whole lot of room this week until their earnings. It's going to be stuck in this maybe 188 to 192, 194 even range, I would say, up until their earnings do come out. So just be cautious of that. Next is going to be taking a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has seen some bad things over the past week, and especially we traded back into 92. Now we are trading back above 95, and the only reason I would take a bounce on MSTR or coin is if Bitcoin can hold back above 95,500 and actually push into 97 area. If we cannot do that, I'm not going to be watching for any sort of bounce on 200 on MSTR or 197. And same with coin. I will probably just not take a look at them, because my assumption is that they're going to be a little bit choppy. Coin, ideally, I would love to see it trade back into 290 and see a really nice reject off of that area or so. Or we trade into 280 and we get a nice bounce in comparison to Bitcoin continuing higher into the 95,500 area. That is really what I want to see. Now, the next name that I'll take a look at is Meta. Meta's given us some nice price action, currently trading around 111 or so, or 110. And ideally, what I want to see is price to continue higher above there and make a recovery all the way back to 620 range is what I really want to see. So about a $10 move. If we cannot hold up 610, we will easily be able to reject that area and see back down to 600. But this really is going to depend on overall price action going into tomorrow, if price is going to be on the more bullish side or the more bearish side. So those are the names that I'm watching going into this next week. There's not a whole lot else I'm watching, just also going into tomorrow. I don't believe price will be the greatest on Monday, so be careful, do what you will with that information. But yeah, this is all I'm watching for now, just those couple of names. Again, Bitcoin is going to be a really big watch for me on my list, at least. So just be cautious and be aware of that as well. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my Sunday Stock Watch. The Discord is now open if you want to join it. Link is in the description of this video. Make sure to subscribe so you guys can get all of my trade recaps, Sunday Stock Watches, and any educational videos that I put out there for you all. Seriously though, thank you guys so much, and I will see you all next time.